the significance of celebrating Holy Mass in a hotel room. Some of you here today, certainly Mrs. Waddick, certainly my mother, maybe some others, were at the Bishop's first Mass in another hotel room, in Paddington Hotel, in 1976. A Sun Mass with your dear parents, as I recall, my Lord, with a friend, I think, of yours singing with a beautiful tenor voice, singing at Holy Mass. And afterwards, all the faithful invited to a wonderful four-course meal. My mother has kept the menu. So there we go, I was being told the other day. And yes, hotel rooms, after you yourself having blessed and consecrated, no doubt, many churches, fine, big and small, and yet being, so to speak, reduced now to celebrating Holy Mass for this 80th birthday occasion, speaks volumes. Precisely because the good combat for the faith continues. There are no easy solutions. We could indeed have the nice churches in the centre of cities for all sorts of things if we were to conform and to compromise and to enter into a deal with those people who are destroying the church. So it speaks volumes that the faithful bishop of the four bishops consecrated by Archbishop Lefebvre in 1988 celebrates Mass today here in a hotel room because so as to show no compromise, no dallying with the truth and with the Catholic faith. Father Brugele, who called me from Switzerland a day or two ago, said precisely this: we'd like to have been here in person because one of the fathers out there is poorly, he could not make it. He said, do pass on his very best wishes and appreciation for your fidelity, my Lord, in a time of infidelity. And indeed it's your episcopal motto, is it not? Fidelis inveniator. May he be found faithful. It's our prayer and our wish for his lordship, and a prayer also for ourselves, seeing how many can precisely fall by the wayside sooner or later and abandon this great gift which is the Catholic faith. In connection with Paddington Hotel is the famous Paddington Bear, who I think at least the English or the British or English speakers amongst you will know of, perhaps for our foreign friends and visitors from across the world will not know perhaps so well Paddington Bear, who turns up in Paddington Station having been sent out of South America. And so as his lordship came to London after a little mishap back in 2009 and was indeed received at Heathrow Airport by Edwin and others, yours truly included. And at the time, Father Four who came out first from the airport gate, and the airport police had been very obliging to form an armed guard for the occasion, given the scrum of not so friendly journalists and others. Bishop, at the time, Father Four came out first, and I met him. I said to the bishop, wait a few moments, our private guards have advised you to this and the other, etc. We've got permission to pick you up and all the rest of it. And Father Four comes out, and the journalists jump on Father Four saying, aren't you, have you nothing to say? Do you not repent of your awful words? And this, that and the other. And Father Four said, I am not him. But it's to his likeness in Bishop Paul. And the likeness is not just physical, it's in all the good ideas. So Paddington Bear we received in London after coming out of, I know Paddington Bear was Peru, was Lima, but it's South America, it's Spanish speaking. Father Bishop Fontaines will forgive me for saying it's all the same really down there, but not quite. And the grace of receiving Bishop Williamson in St. George's House, the district headquarters, for almost 4 years, from 2009 to the end of 2012, And I have to admit, guilty my lord is what they say in the courtrooms, do they not? I had the unenviable task of showing the bishop the door at the end of 2012. So you can start throwing your bread rolls at me once I'm done, because, but the bishop, or rather poetic justice, came good because his lordship was able to find a fine refuge, a safe house in the apartment of Mr. John Macaulay. Yours truly, when I left the society, you can't hear anymore. I've been cut up by the powers that be.
The red button on the bottom.
Button.
Push a button.
Button at the bottom. Oh, there we go. I probably made the batteries go dead. Anyway, it's a good attempt at sabotage, but you won't shut me up so easily, so I have to try harder. So when I left the society 5 years after his lordship did, I didn't have the nice, safe, modest quarters of a Mr. John Macaulay. I was in a caravan in a French field without electricity and running water, and thought I should have followed the bishop earlier. It would have been better had I done so. For all sorts of reasons, spiritual, political, doctrinal. Also, they've had hot water, and the pastor, anyway. During the bishop's years, not quite mouldering in the London garret, as it was once mentioned in the bishop's very good weekly letters, but in our top floor apartment, the bishop came into contact with, and I think fell in love with, another children's story, not this time Paddington Bear, but Wind in the Willows. Wind in the Willows. And you know the story of how the folk on the riverbank have friendship and adventures and have to withstand the taking over of Toad Hall by the weasels, by the baddies. And we all would perhaps adopt parts in the Wind of the Willows. Father Abraham, for example, liked to be the mole. No prizes for guessing why. I was reading that Mr. Toad, the boastful, strong-headed, obstinate Mr. Toad, was based upon Kenneth Graham's own young son, who was a headstrong boy by the name of Alistair, and he based the character of Mr. Toad upon his son. The debonair, bon vivant Ratty, Mr. Ratty, was a writer friend of Kenneth Graham's. I won't tell you about the lunch we had, seeing his lordship holding the dinner plate, going beep, 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 a la Mr. Toad, who the bishop liked and enjoyed with his caravans and motor cars and aeroplanes and all the rest of it. We, at least not directly, but certainly behind the bishop's revered back, thought the bishop was most like the badger. The badger in Wind in the Willows. Not just a question of hair colours and styles, we've all caught up in that, but Mr. Badger, dear old Badger, remember the words of Ratty talking about Mr. Badger, the wise one, the older one, the one who helped the others, the one who received Ratty and Moley lost in the wild wood, and who would organise with them the deliverance of Toad Hall from the awful weasels. So Bishop Williamson, dear old Badger, I presume to say publicly, with great affection and filial piety, has been, these last years, very much behind, if not the redemption of the society from those who occupy it, at least helping the rest of us, clergy and faithful, in trying to stay faithful to the society, and therefore the combat for the faith as given to us by the popes and adopted so well by Archbishop Lefebvre. And so Bishop Williamson, not caring for human respect, for his personal reputation, with courage, conviction, courtesy, good humour, consistency, speaking the truth in season and out of season. And if, therefore, we have Mass in a hotel room today, it's because the bishop has not changed. It's the others who are changing, and that's why they have, in the churches, and as St. Athanasius would say, they have the churches, but we have the faith. Before finishing, and you'll be devastated here, I must now finish. I owe also personal debt of gratitude to the bishop who invited my dear belated father to Icone to visit the seminary back in 1976. Then Deacon Richard Williamson received my brother and myself very kindly. And I thought to myself, goodness, this is a real seminary. If one day, God forbid, I'd be called to the priesthood, it would have to be Icone. And so some years later, it was indeed Icone. So it's really the bishop's fault that I'm here today speaking to you as a priest, and so on, in the nicest possible way. I know that the bishop did not want any gifts, but just given the occasion, I could not resist, my mother and I could not resist finding a little gift, and it has marked on the box, my lord, caution live animal. But please do open this up for the edification of the assembled friends and faithful.